If you sort infrastructure, you have sorted the cost of living, you have sorted the expense in transport, you have stimulated industry growth. Having a national infrastructure fund is a revolutionary idea.
The idea is great.
Yes,
for sure.
the idea is great. But we need to understand one thing. We have had trust deficit. We have had issues initially with government programs. But this is an insulated idea that comes with enablers or insulations that it protects it from corruption, it protects it from political interference, it protects it from having white elephant government projects.
Hey there, and welcome to Fanya Mambo Africa. Of course, if it's Tuesday, we have another episode that is exciting, obviously, and a bit with a lot of happenings in the political and Nairobi County as itself. And to look at these things, I have Joe Khalende. I hope I pronounced
Yes.
that right. Where I come from, it's a bit of a hard name to pronounce. He's an advocate of the High Court,
Yes.
of Kenya,
Mhm.
and also Director Political Affairs, State House, and also I think founders, member of UDA party. That's a lot.
No, we have been around. For the
Those
shortest
titles are
period.
too many. Okay, advocate, I understand. These other ones, why can't it just be one?
For the shortest period I've been around, I've earned those titles.
Okay.
I've been a student leader at Moi University School of Law. I've been the president there since I was there in 2013 to 2016. I was the president of Law Society, Moi University School of Law. After finishing campus straight, I had an opportunity with the Honorable Babu Namwamba, who ushered me into national politics. I was the Secretary General, Youth Congress Labour Party. That is 2016, 2017. When we were going to that election, 2017, the Secretary General Labour Party was David Makali. He then resigned and joined NASA. So we were in a Kagumaya with the Honorable Babu Namwamba. Then I told him, Mheshimiwa, I've been the Secretary General of the Youth Congress. I can be the Secretary General of the party. Then I was given that opportunity. I was the youngest Secretary General going into the election of 2017 of a political party.
Okay. Immediately
from campus. Then after that, politics changed, life moved on. I moved on. I joined William Ruto Tanga team. Me and several young people who were in Tanga team, we founded UDA. And here we are.
Here you are. Yes. You have fought for your space.
Yes.
So actually, it's interesting. It would be good to hear from your experience, because you've been with UDA for how many years now? Say 5?
Yes.
Thereabout.
Yeah.
What is the place of the youth in that party?
The place of the youth is well secured within UDA space. It's well secured, but it's not guaranteed.
Why is it not guaranteed? And the young people are the biggest population of the country.
Young people are the biggest population in the country, but we cannot get it on a silver platter. Even the youth space is secured in our constitution under Article 55, where we can be given affirmative action, being sponsored in an economic, political sphere, to be enabled to be there. Yeah. But we cannot be given on a silver platter if we don't work for it. We must come out and work for it. We must sweat. We must be in the trenches for us to earn those space, for us to earn the titles, for us to be on the table.
Okay.
It cannot be given on a silver platter.
Let me just ask this, perhaps because we see it from the chairperson to the Secretary General, to, all these people who lead UDA, they're not young people.
Yes, they're not young people. And if you clearly understand the way our politics is done, since time immemorial, the Orengos of this day, the Anyang' Nyong'os of this day, the late Raila Amolo Odinga, the present President William Ruto, did not just drop from heaven to those spaces. They took time, they invested their time, their resources, and their valuable opportunity that they got, they utilized it to earn the title. So we must be vigilant 24/7 as young people to take the space and occupy the space and earn the respect.
Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes back, you tried that, earning
Yes.
the space and fighting.
Yes.
And coming up with a sort of a coup in UDA party to kick out former SG, Malala, but you did not succeed. So how is that within that party?
Not that I did. I succeeded. You see, in politics, you need to be very careful when you are analyzing politics, and when you say it's a win in politics or it's a loss in politics. There was a problem. I am part and parcel of UDA.
Yes.
With other like-minded people, we are part and parcel of UDA. We understand the journey as UDA. The journey of UDA, it's not about personality. It's about people. It's about an idea. And our idea as UDA, it was very simple. Bring everybody on board, regardless of the tribe, religion, age, race. Then stop the discussion of politics in terms of tribal arithmetic and start a conversation around issues. That was our common idea as UDA.
That was.
Yes. And it is our common idea up to today as UDA. Now, along the way, we were joined by friends, we were joined by like-minded people, we formed a movement, we formed a political machine that won the election. After winning the election, people were given responsibilities to do certain things. One former senator of Kakamega, Cleophas Malala, was given the responsibility to be the SG of the party. Along the way, I think he did not understand the assignment that he was given. And mine was to remind him that we founder members understand the course, understand the journey, and understand the assignment. That is not your assignment. Please change.
So you plotted a coup?
Not plotted a coup. I had to. You see, if people within UDA understand that I took some steps to notify the leadership within UDA. I wrote several letters notifying UDA what was going on and what the general party members felt was going on in UDA, and it was not correct. But because the former SG and the former deputy party leader had occupied the space, they used that opportunity to frustrate the process of the party championing its cause. They delayed certain issues within the party. We wanted the party to elect its grassroots leaders right from the grassroots, right from the polling centers up to the top. They were frustrating that process. They wanted to remain in as interim leaders, but we wanted substantive leaders within the party. So I raised all the issues about the misappropriation within the party, but they were frustrating the process. So I took the initiative
Okay.
as
Member.
as members, as founder members, with like-minded members, and our issues were heard very well, and I think we achieved the obligation.
Why do you think the party, maybe the NEC and all these members, never trusted you to be an SG after the ouster of these members that were not working in line with what you had in mind?
They did not trust me. You need to understand a lot of things. Also, there were a lot of things. It was just immediately after the Gen Z issues and occupying issues from the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So young people who are moving targets. 2, the party has a constitution. The party has structures in how leaders are given certain position. And I was told, gentlemen, this is not one of those ways how you can occupy the position. Wait for the National Delegates Conference. Wait first. We get the grassroots leaders. We put the structure in place. We have the National Delegates Conference. Then you can present your ambition. Then we can interrogate your ambition. Then we can give you a platform. And I agreed with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, that was very easy for you to agree. Like sounds
Not-
like you gave up too soon. However,
not giving up too soon. You see, you need to understand certain things. You need to be strategic in politics. Sometimes you can do things overboard until you overprice yourself out of the market in politics. You need to be very careful to balance all the interests.
Okay.
And I understand our politics. I'm very much aware. The day we went at the party and I declared myself as the Secretary General, is the day I discovered that Kenyans like aggressive politics. It's the day I understood that Kenyans like politics of confrontation, politics of rebellion, politics of uliza kwani iko nini. I received calls from Todonyang in Turkana. I received calls from Lamu down there. People saying that is the best way. That is the way. You have saved our party. Up to today, some people still refer me to SG. Some people call me freedom fighter. So, and there's an opportunity. I've shown my abilities to the party that we need to hold the party together. We need to stick to the ideals, to the founding ideals of the party. We need to respect the constitution of the party. So,
But
given that opportunity...
Do you think Kenyan parties do that now that you've gone that direction? Does it?
Yes,
across?
Political parties across in Kenya, we do things upside down. We don't prioritize meritocracy. We don't prioritize mentorship and opportunity. 3, our politics are around patronage and individual-centered. So, at the end of the day, political parties are used as convenient vehicles, not as democratic institutions to safeguard our democracy. Which I think the problem starts with how we form these parties. It starts from there. A political parties issues in Kenya start as early as how a political party is formed. A political party is formed from a clan, from a family, from a tribe, from a certain village. Automatically, it will be a tribal vehicle to satisfy an individual interest. But the moment you start a political party as a national vehicle, it will incorporate everybody. It will incorporate all regions, all races, and it will move. That's why political party in South Africa, political parties in Tanzania, the founding political parties are still there.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, where is the founding political parties? They disappeared a long time ago.
Well, they say Moi said Kanu will rule for 100 years. Technically, it is Kanu because all these are Kanu children, right?
Yes.
So then how do we shift that so that we have political parties that outlive these personal interests, regional interests?
We need to understand that our constitution guarantees us that political parties are democratic institutions. They are not individual properties.
That is the constitution.
One. That's the constitution.
Yes.
And that's the constitution, and we must live it. We must not allow political parties to be individual-based. Take it for example. ODM.
Yeah.
ODM is at crossroad.
Yes.
Where its founding leader, they need to decide very fast as ODM. Do they want to live as a legacy political party, or do they want to live in the reality of the moment as a political party? So that's a decision within, and that's a conversation within ODM. They will have it, they will discuss it, and they will know how to deal with it. But I would have wanted a situation where ODM will remain 10 years, 20 years to come, and to be strong, to be vibrant, to be a national political party, so that the young people or the people who believe in the ideals of ODM can still continue living the ODM spirit. People who believed in the original idea of UDA can continue having the political party called UDA even after William Ruto.
The original ideas.
Yes.
So now it's shifted along
Not
the way.
it has shifted. I'm saying those are, you see, there are those original ODM ideas. There are those original UDA ideas. Along the way, because of our politics, sometimes parties realign along coalition, around realignment. That's the reality of our political parties. As much as you realign to the realities of the day, you need to maintain the original idea why you formed the ODM or why you formed the UDA.
Is that possible if the lead person feels otherwise? For instance, let's do UDA. President Ruto is the, and I'm using quotes, the owner of UDA. If today he feels there are things he doesn't like and shifts gears, you as members, do you really have a choice?
Even if he feels as the party leader, there are party organs.
Those party organs are switched.
It needs to be a conversation. One thing I like about UDA, we always have conversations within UDA structures. Free, democratic conversation where you are allowed to air your issues.
Is that true?
Within. Yes. Let me tell you, let me surprise you. Immediately after election in UDA, the first person to differ with UDA was Wamchomba. But today, where is Wamchomba? He's back in UDA because we allowed her to have the ideas, to have divergent opinion, and to have the conversation.
What ideas then does she stand for? If today I can say, no, this party is bad, then tomorrow I'm back in the same party, do I really have any principles? Even does that party have principles?
You see, as UDA, we had a manifesto, we had an agenda that we promised Kenyans. And as a party, we felt that if we implement the agenda, if we implement the plan, we'll have achieved. But there are some people within UDA who started a divergent opinion, which was more popular at that time, which was making sense to them politically at that time. But now they have realized that then they were wrong. A good example is Wamchomba Koimburi.
They realized they were wrong.
Yes. And
yes. It would be important to understand for what interests in particular. Like from, okay, I don't know if you've spoken to her, but I would want to understand what has she told you she realized she was wrong on in particular.
Yes. Fine. You see, politicians tend to be selfish in nature because politicians want what works for them. Our politics is about the next general election. Can I be re-elected? Yeah. Yes, that is how our politics works and how politicians operate. When as a government, when UDA decided that we promise Kenyans affordable housing, we promise Kenyans SHA, we promise Kenyans that we'll have hustler fund and what have you, we embarked on the promise. The president started the debate around having SHA. The president started the conversation around. Yes, it is in our manifesto. Yes, it is in our manifesto.
To work the way it is
yes, working. Even if you look at the clips, if you play back the clips during our campaign period, we promised people affordable housing. And affordable housing centered in creating jobs and having the housing. That was in our manifesto. That was in our better.
But it did say how it was going to be funded.
Model. Yes, everything is there. Everything is there.
There was no way that it was going to be funded.
Now, going to the conversation, then we started the conversation. People like Wamchomba felt that at that time, this discussion was not popular with Kenyans. But a question, you need to ask yourself a question. If you go into a campaign and promise A, then you arrive tomorrow, you say, no, we did not promise that. Let's put it down. It's not popular. Let's go what is popular with the people. You need to have a balance somewhere. You need to understand that when you're making a promise, when you're putting your agenda to Kenyans, that is what Kenyans use to give you votes. So tomorrow when you have that opportunity, explain to Kenyans how you want to implement those projects. And people like Wamchomba had a problem with that. And they went, and we allowed them to have their conversation, to have their divergent opinion. But today, Wamchomba will tell you, government is constructing markets in her constituency, which are 70-80% done, is constructing affordable housing in her constituency, which are 60 to 70% done, and she's happy that what was promised is being delivered, and she was wrong, and she has accepted to correct her way.
Was she blind this whole time that she could not see markets were being constructed?
Not that she was blind. I've come to learn something in the shortest period I've been in politics, that don't be very fast to make a political decision when there is too much noise. At times, some of this noise, when everything settles down, it is just noise.
Then aren't you just explaining that politics is basically a game of deceit?
There are people who have done politics that way. They say A, tomorrow they camouflage to something else. Yes, there are people who have done politics that way.
And they're not, not in your party.
No, they are not in our party. But you see, a political party is like, a political party is like a marketplace. You'll have principled people, you'll have madmen, you'll have everybody on board in a political space. It is how you pick the conversation and you shape your conversations in political parties. And one thing we need to understand, yes, there are people who do politics the wrong way. There are some people who do the politics of deceit. But we can also show that there are people who are principled. One thing I can give it to fellow young people like Sifuna and Babu Wino is that they have been very consistent. I can give it to Salasia. Salasia has been very consistent. And that tells you that there are people who can do politics on principles. And there are people who can do politics of deceit. So politics is, it's like a marketplace. Everybody is there.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's touch on ODM. You were saying of party organs and how strong they ought to be. ODM is 20 years old, right? And they're struggling with maintaining the true north that the party was formed for. When you look at what is going on between the Sifuna Babu faction and the Oburu and the team, what do you make of that? You're even laughing at that part.
Not I'm
Is
laughing
it that
at
bad?
part. It's not. ODM needs to come to the reality. If they are going to leave the legacy moment, or they'll be in the reality of the way politics is done today. For a very long time. In fact, let me tell you this. Whatever is going on in ODM, it's not new.
Yeah, of course.
Even when Raila Amolo Odinga was alive.
The fact that Raila is not there.
Yes. That's what is making it unique. But now, they have given the brother to Raila Amolo Odinga, Oburu Odinga, an opportunity to be the party leader and to steer the party ahead. And he has given his clear vision. He has given his clear strategy how he wants ODM to operate. He has allowed the divergent conversations to happen within ODM.
Does he have a choice of not allowing? Would you?
Other party leaders will not allow. Other people will not allow. People have been chased from political parties. So he has allowed that conversation to happen. 2, they need to understand the reality of the politics today, both sides of the divergent conversation. That the politics of today in Kenya, you cannot do it alone. You cannot go it alone.
Yeah.
You need to align yourself with other like-minded people in terms of political actors and political parties to get an opportunity to be given an opportunity to serve as government and implement your agenda, your manifesto, and your ideologies. So it is something that it is so strong within ODM that even one who is a founder member like Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, I saw a conversation that he was trying to converse around, and the conversation was very clear. The young people or the divergent opinion within ODM that has been put around the young people, they need to understand that they must look at the older generation to understand their careful, deliberate steps that they have made. And the older generation need to give young people an opportunity. It's a balance. So basically, the conversation within ODM must be balanced, and they need to arrive to a conclusion where all the parties can have a compromise and move as a bloc together.
Okay, let me ask you. You're talking about the old and the young in ODM, and the mean average age in Kenya is actually 19 and a half. These people you're calling young, the Sifunas, obviously they're young compared to the Oburu faction. He's around 43, if I'm right. So if Sifuna, who is 43, is not even getting an opportunity, where will a 20-year-old, which is the bigger population? So how do we entrust if we can't give these people who are in their 40s, they are young, politically, of course, they are young, they're in their 40s, the leadership, or trust them? What happens to the youth in Kenya?
Not what happens to the youth in Kenya. Let me tell you, we cannot be young forever.
Of course.
Yes. 2, we must fight for that space, which the Sifuna team is doing. Wonderful. They are fighting for the space. They have started a conversation. Everybody is hearing what they're saying.
Yeah.
And they need to continue with that conversation until they are heard, until they are understood, until a compromise is reached.
If they are not heard.
Not if they are not heard.
It is a possibility.
Let me tell you, in politics, the way politics work, if you don't give these people an opportunity to have a conversation, they will have it somewhere else. That's how politics works. It is something, and people need to understand that. It doesn't mean that if Sifuna stops being the Secretary General of ODM tomorrow, he's dead politically. No.
Yeah.
It means he can be a Secretary General somewhere else, or it means he can be a party leader somewhere else. And it means that his political life or his life doesn't end when he stops being the Secretary General. It means that he must continue being, even if he's a mad person, with what he's saying, he must continue being a mad person until we understand that he's not a bad person.
Yeah.
Yes. That is how these spaces are earned. That is how William Ruto earned that space. That's how Raila earned that space. And that's how everybody else earned that space. He needs to be consistent continuously to earn that space and explain his point. Because that's how democracy works. And that's how even Oburu Odinga has been insisting that at the end of the day in ODM, the majority will have their way, the minority will have their say. And those are the principles within within ODM. So it is not a win-lose. It is a win-win for me, the way I look at it from the outside. It's a win-win.
Okay.
Yes.
But UDA wants also to take ODM. You know, I was watching Sifuna say he's not signed any check for any of those events that are happening in under ODM.
But as if signed checks that for the events that he's doing.
Yeah, he explained. He explained the funding he's getting.
Yes. In the way political actors understand how these things work, how events work, how things work. A political party has donors, has members. A political party has well-wishers.
So is UDA a donor to ODM?
No.
No?
That's a conversation within ODM. It's not a conversation in UDA. When ODM is having their event, it's their event. They know how they do their events. So I find it to be cheap politics whenever they're having a debate within ODM, they try to bring in UDA. As UDA, we have said, we have moved on, we have formed a broad-based government. Politics is a game of persuasion. We are persuading the people within ODM, the like-minded ODM members, that we think that through broad-based, we have achieved certain things. And we feel that if we continue with this collaboration, we will achieve much greater things together. Can we continue with this journey? That is a conversation. That is persuasion within UDA, that we feel that the people who we have onboarded, the expert we onboard from ODM, have contributed to the journey and have made tremendous steps towards national building. And we feel that we need to continue together as broad-based going forward.
Okay.
It's a persuasion, and there are people who don't feel the same. So it's within their political space, it's within their political right to also have a divergent view.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You've touched about the broad-based experts, and one of the things that actually was launched yesterday was the National Infrastructure Fund, which one of your experts brags and says this is going to be a game changer. Even the president says this is going to turn around this country.
Yes.
I would just, from where you see it, how important is this National Infrastructure Fund? And how is it going to stay away from corruption? Because everything in Kenya ends up in corrupt deals.
We need to understand one thing, that infrastructure is an enabler of economic growth.
Yes.
If you sort infrastructure, you have sorted the cost of living, you have sorted the expense in transport, you have stimulated industrial growth. Having a national infrastructure fund is a revolutionary idea.
The idea is great.
Yes, the idea is great. But we need to understand one thing. We have had trust deficit. We have had issues initially with government programs. But this is an insulated idea that comes with enablers or insulations that it protects it from corruption, it protects it from political interference, it protects it from having white elephant government projects.
What are these insulators?
One, you sound surprised.
Yeah.
You sound surprised. You sound surprised. One thing that we need to understand is this, that having a national infrastructure fund, it will undergo all the requirement by law in terms of our constitution, in terms of our Public Finance Management Act, in terms of Auditor General reporting, in terms of having audited statements, in terms of oversight on all democratic institutions that are given responsibility to oversight any government dealing. Two, infrastructure fund is an investment infrastructure, is an investment structure whereby private sector invest a shilling based on the risk valuation and the returns, based on visibility study, based on all the things that can direct you to invest in a certain thing. Because why will a private investor invest in a government project that will not take off and will not earn him a shilling? An investor will not invest in such projects. But an investor will invest in a secured government project that he knows it will guarantee the returns.
What is securing it? That's the part I want to understand.
Yes. One thing we have introduced in this infrastructure fund act, there's something that has been introduced, a portfolio. There's something called portfolio discipline. What is portfolio discipline? These are investment rules. These are the reasons why an investor must invest in a certain projects. And these rules require that before a project is taken or a project is done, certain things in the checklist must be ticked. Certain indicators must be ticked. Once those indicators are ticked, then an investor is comfortable to invest. Then that gives the government or the people the satisfaction that as much as we are moving from the old system of using the taxes and borrowing to invest in infrastructure, there is an insulated way in which this fund or this money mobilized by government will not be misused. Am I making sense?
I am trying to understand how
Yes.
it will not, because I'm looking at projects that have happened in the last,
Yes.
say, even in the 2 years, 3 years the president has been in office. We've had, what was that, Hustler Fund?
Yes.
We could not account how much money has been collected, how much has been used. And that is one. And the promise was the same, no corruption. We had SHA with a scandal of 11 billion, was it? Just a few weeks ago. And the system of SHA was brought because we were told NHIF was corrupt. So this is incorruptible. So now you have another system which you're saying is again incorruptible.
You see, there are allegations around SHA. And I think the CS Aden Duale has corrected the misinformation around SHA. It is alleged.
I don't think the 11 billion was
Yes.
a misinformation.
It is alleged that SHA was to lose the 11 billion in payment of wrong or in payment to certain individuals who had made. But it's a revelation. It's not. It is that these individuals or these cartels or these hospitals had made claims to SHA to be paid around 11 billion. And these claims were found to be mysterious. And as the actual payment of the 11 billion was not done.
You know, we can only ascertain
Yes.
that when you remember initially the first issue that was raised was where there was a system where you could see how much money was allocated to hospitals. Did you know after people complained online and marked, that thing went down? We can't access now to see how much money is given. So you see already that's a trust thing. So even you saying it's an allegation for citizens,
You see, there is that issue, and one thing that we need to understand is this: that we have checks and balance. We have people given responsibility to oversight.
but
As a
isn't it
country.
already given? You see, just
yes.
give me a minute. We are talking even when the Auditor General has been raising issues that State House has overspent. So you see, there's already places of checks and balances.
Balances,
Even
yes.
when we are saying it's a new, even the way public, it's called what? The PMF, Public
Yes, Finance
Finance,
Management Act. Yes.
So it exists, it's not new, but even with its existence, corruption has been ailing.
You see, this one thing that we need to appreciate, that in this day and era, we have those checks and balance that highlight key issues. And those key issues means that these are questions that need answers. The day an Auditor General raises a red flag, tomorrow somebody is required to go and answer those questions. The moment those answers feel insufficient, there are necessary steps that are supposed to be taken. You see, when you say that 11 billion has misappropriated, 11 billion cannot be answered where it is. There's somebody with that responsibility to come and answer where is this 11 billion or 7 billion. And that person needs to answer. And that's why, if you are very keen today, governors are in the Senate, up in arms with the Senate, in answering those questions. people within government go through parliamentary committees to answer those questions. And at the end of the day, there is a responsibility that has been assigned to somebody that if you fail to answer this question, there are necessary steps that are supposed to be taken.
Why is
Now,
it just that it's big on government? Because private companies would never allow you to be through that. So what are these loopholes? Because the system is there. It's like when they say the constitution gives you a right to this.
yes,
It is there.
yeah,
We can't even make a new law because the law already exists for
yes,
that. But
yeah.
what are these gaps that allow that pilferage to go on?
Not what are those gaps that allow. It is a problem that as a country we need to face head on. We need to face head on because today we have a whole entity called ESCC, which has been given a sole mandate to investigate issues to do with corruption in our public institution. We have gone ahead. We have even enacted a Conflict of Interest Act that gives responsibility to individuals who are within government to declare their conflict of interest whenever a certain activities undergo within government. And it prevents them from using that government information to enrich themselves.
You and I know very well
Yes.
the leadership of this country across are the ones actually involved in this conflict of interest businesses. So it becomes very hard. Like it's people in government from the top all the way.
But you see, and that's why I've said it's a conversation that as a country, it is not new. It's not new conversation. It is a conversation that we face it today in our country. And we must tackle it. Because from the government side or from the president's side or from Kenya Kwanza side, we made certain promises that as the president takes his opportunity to the privilege that he was given with the Kenyans, that all independent institutions, all constitution institutions that are there, commissions and institutions that have been given mandate, democratic space to do their work, President promised that he will not make a call to those institutions. And he will support them to ensure that they do their functions to the fullest. Today, the president, the moment he was sworn in, he was on the forefront to allow the remaining 6 to 8 judges who had been stopped by the previous government to be sworn in. He took that initiative and gave them the responsibility. Those judges have been in court, and the court has awarded them almost 120 million for being stopped. 2, he said that the money that was being used by the Ministry of Interior to twist the police as an independent institution, he will allocate it to the national police so that they can no longer receive calls from the person from the above within that ministry. Police is independent and they have their money and they have the independence that is required. The president went ahead and said that whoever within his government is found with issues to do with corruption, he will face the consequences. Everybody who has been mentioned.
That part we haven't seen.
You see, one thing that people need to understand,
even
when you are respecting...
Sorry.
Yes.
We even saw the IG in a campaign event, political event.
You see,
have you forgotten
we need to draw the line. We need to understand the thin line. When the head of state or the president is in an event, it is and the IG is there, and this event happens, and political utterances are made. Initially, the event maybe was a state function. Within that state function, political utterances...
It was actually not a state function. It was in Nyeri.
Yes.
It wasn't a state function.
Then you need to balance also to understand that the IG also is performing his function while there. Then those utterances happen. So sometimes
That one,
The IG find
that one
himself in such
that
situation.
one I have my reservations, because the IG is very independent. If you go
Yes.
to the National Police Service, it is declared what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
So when such things happen, I mean, people are not blind.
Yes.
People can see.
So it is a conversation that the corruption conversation is a conversation that we must continue having it. We cannot bury our heads and say that we have achieved. We must continue having the conversation, and we must continue asking the hard questions. After the president has given all the assurances, after the agencies given the mandate to fight corruption have been given the assurance, we must continue 24/7 being vigilant and Kenyans asking those questions now to these independent institutions. Because it is one thing to ask the president a question or the people within government a question to do with corruption. And it's another thing also, as Kenyans, that we need also to ask a question to a body like judiciary. We have given them mandate as the people to do their work.
Yeah.
What have they achieved? What have they done up to today? We have given the mandate to EACC. We have given the mandate to DPP, to the police. What have they achieved? Because not every day that this question starts and ends with the president or the government. We must also ask other arms within government that what are the scorecards? Because this conversation of corruption only, it starts and ends with one side of the story. I think we need to elaborate the space, and tomorrow have the CJ seated here, tomorrow have the EACC director seated here, the IG and the DCI seated here to explain the certain steps within their mandate that they have taken to curb this menace.
Okay.
Yes.
That I agree with you. But Kenya, every day we are reminded the journey to Singapore, right? If you know the story of Lee Kuan Yew, he was the prime minister of Singapore, right? He gave direction, he steered the ship. So at the end of the day, we may pinpoint, of course, these people have a responsibility because, again, they are funded by our taxes, not like they have a choice.
Yes.
But I feel the bigger responsibility rests with the president. No?
Not, yes, the backstop.
Because if Lee did not take the direction he took, why would we be told today the journey to Singapore?
President Truman said that the backstops at the Oval House. So the backstops with the president, definitely.
Yeah.
The president has given the direction. It's up to the people also who have been given responsibilities around him or within government to pull up their socks and move towards that direction. At one point, Mwai Kibaki, the former president, we had a national calling, a working nation. And everybody around government was steered towards a working nation. I think it's that high time that also the direction that the president has given is that we must move from a third world to a first world country. Now, what are these ingredients that are supposed to happen to enable us to move towards that direction? We must pull together. If you have been given the responsibility to be the person to fight corruption, are you doing that responsibility? If you have been given that responsibility to ensure that Kenya is a secure and a safer nation, are you doing that responsibility? As much as the president may give directions, we must see that the supporting cast also is going towards that direction. Okay. It is something that as a nation, sometimes, you see, it is easy to point the finger at the office of the president. But you must understand, in government, he's just the executive.
But his supporting cast starts with the CSs, right?
Yes.
You are director of political affairs.
Yeah.
And every time we have seen in the recent past, let me not say every time, but oftentimes we have seen opposition being tear gassed and goons. Even when the young people went to the street, we were seeing goons marching with police officers. And then the CS for internal comes and says people stole in a supermarket and left their IDs. Logically, no thug will do that. That does not make sense. Number two, he says people in politics are having their own tear gas canisters and using them for their own interests. So when you see such things happening from a CS interior, isn't it saying there's a gap? And these are the cast members who are supposed to be, pushing the president's agenda.
You see, we must be clear. We have human rights, we have political rights in this country.
Yes.
We must appreciate that. We have made tremendous steps in ensuring that our constitution, rights and freedom are guaranteed in this country. In one way or another, we face challenges in ensuring that people enjoy these rights. It is within your political rights, it is within your rights to demonstrate, to petition, and present a petition to government, to relevant government agencies. And that right must be protected and must be enjoyed.
With goons accompanying the police?
Not with goons. You see, there's a story here. Let me tell you one thing. This story of IDs. We were there in the downtown immediately after the Mandamanos. Those IDs were not IDs of goons. Those IDs were for individuals who had come to peacefully protest or for the protesters. Those IDs belong to the individuals who are there. But in the midst of the protests, there were thugs who could mug people, and which were recorded. It was live. People were being mugged and robbed. When people are being robbed and mugged of their personal properties, among the things that were there, it was their IDs. So when a thief is going downtown in those places downtown, they used to throw the IDs when they are going. When the confrontation was going on between thugs and the protesters and everything.
So what
the
made
police responsibility?
Why did the CS say they belonged to? It
The
was,
CS,
it was recorded.
The CS did not say that it belonged to the goons.
No, Joe.
The CS was misquoted on this one. I need to be a bit sensible. It is impossible for somebody to do that.
Okay. He also misquoted that people have tear gas?
Not people being misquoted. Boniface, Senator of Kakamega, Halwale has said categorically that the person who tear gassed the people who opened the tear gas canister in Kakamega was not a police officer. And let me tell you one thing. If that person was a police officer, by today, we'll have the name. By today, we'll have the personal number. By today, the face of that individual will be all over.
Why?
Because and around all that commotion and around all that thing that has been happening previously, the police officers who have cost lives and livelihood are in court today. We have almost 802 files from IPOA today on instances where the police have been involved in issues to do with infringing the rights or protecting the rights of its citizens. So it is something that today you and I know that if we saw what was happening in Kakamega, if that individual was a police officer, because he was called out from the crowd, he was picked from the crowd, by now, if he was a police officer, in that case, I know the face will be all over, the photo of that young man, the name, the personal number, the police personal number will be out.
But in that church, we team a church in Nyeri.
Yes.
We saw a police spray cars, a police uniformed.
Yes. We have had issues.
So why would it be different in Kakamega, yet the one that was seen in Nyeri was not arrested?
Not different in Kakamega. I've had the opportunity to do special assignments around the Ministry of Interior. And we went around through the 47 counties during the Jukwaa la Usalama. And among the things that we identify is that as a government, we have been employing people to serve in the police service. But we have not been continuously taking these people through continuous training and assessment and ensuring that they are properly and adequately enabled to offer the job that they have been given. That was one thing that we highlighted. And we had several issues around there. And one thing that I can tell you today, the challenges across the world in dealing with crowd management, it's an issue across the world. Look at demonstration in countries that are 250 plus years old. They are having issues. In America, we have had issues in crowd control. So it is something that is very critical that as a government, we have taken the initiative. And among the initiative is to continuously to do vigorous exercise, to do vigorous update and training with the police officer so that they can understand the responsibility and the job and they can understand the law. So that tomorrow, you see, normally today, if you have to ask a Kenyan that tunaenda maandamano, a Kenyans will tell you that tutaenda kupigwa tear gas.
But it is the truth.
Yes, because there are certain challenges that we have been facing. But we need to understand that this right that has been guaranteed in the Constitution must be protected, must be safeguarded. Who are these people that are given that responsibility? If you notify the police that tomorrow we are going to demonstrate along Uhuru Highway, the police will tell you, please, Uhuru Highway from Monday to Friday is a busy road, and other people are doing their ABCD. Can you use Jacaranda field to do your maandamano so that you cannot inconvenience other people? Please, as protesters, you need to understand that.
You want me to go to Jacaranda in Embakasi, while essentially what I need to deliver in Parliament is a petition in Parliament.
You see, we are trying to have that conversation.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the thinking.
Now, you know, people tend to convince us that other countries allow demonstrations, other countries, they do this and this and this. In other countries, in democracies that are well established, as a lead protester, you notify. Not that the government is supposed, you just notify.
Yeah.
Then, as a notification, this is how proper things are done. As a notification, you say, we would like to have a protest, or we are going to have a protest on Friday, and we'll be having a procession from point A to point B. Please avail the necessary protection and what have you so that we can do the protest. Because in those advanced democracies, they respect the law. You are given the go-ahead, or the go-ahead has been given. Then you are told that since you will be protesting, you will be expecting people of a magnitude of 20,000, 100,000, and these people will come with different things and deposit with us 2 million or 5 million to assure us that after your protest, you will clean the streets. If you fail to clean the street, or if you fail to control the crowds, any damage or any loss of life or any loss of livelihood, if it's on your side, you will pay the consequences. And these deposits will be used to sort out the ABCD. That's how other areas are doing their thing. But today, in our country, people want to use, because not all, because tomorrow, if we are saying we are presenting a petition to Parliament on things to do with gender-based violence, clearly that is forthright. We know why this demonstration is there, and we know the agenda. But tomorrow, if you say we are going to have mass action, what do you mean with mass action?
There's always an
explanation. Do you want to overthrow the government? When tomorrow you say you want to occupy State House, or when tomorrow you say you want to occupy Parliament, do you want to overthrow the government? So we need to understand that the right that we have been assured in the Constitution, the right to picket, the right to demonstrate, is also limited there with our sovereign power to have a government in place and to have a government that is constitutionally in place.
But the first
So
line,
don't
the first
use
line,
other means.
you're an advocate. I'm
Yes.
just going to ask. The first
Yeah.
line of that constitution is?
Sovereign power belongs to the people.
Exactly.
And it's exercised directly and
Or?
indirectly.
So those are maybe
And
the means.
also the supremacy of the Constitution, the government will be established through A, B, C, D. Anybody who wants to establish a government outside this A, B, C, D is out of order.
Yes.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
However, since you were part of the team that was doing the Jukwaa la Usalama across the 47 counties, I would want to know, what did the citizens tell you they feel about police and goons working together?
The police need to do their work. The government needs to enable the police to do their work. We have had issues to do with goonship since time immemorial. This is not the first time that we are having goonship and goons being used in politics. This has been a menace in this country. And in a highly competitive political environment or democratic space like ours, certain things tend to go overboard. Today, many politicians in this country have recruited militia groups.
Yeah.
It is a fact. In national police records, goonship and things to do it around goons, they normally happen around towns, because there's a lot of things in town which leads to goons and wahonis. But surprisingly, it has gone overboard that this time round, we have goons even in villages. A case in point is Kakamega County. Kakamega County is a unique county. It's large, it's popular, it's from Western region. Because of illicit brew, because of sugarcane poaching, and because of certain things, goonship has moved from the town even to the villages. And it's serious that even in certain times in Kakamega County, a peaceful funeral ends up being disrupted because politicians are competing. So it is something that we need to come out clearly and face head on.
So
what is the
government's
first and foremost, the government has issued an elaborate statement and highlighted all those areas that are seriously being affected by goonship. Case in point, whatever is going on in Central. The people from Central need to understand their history. Let it not be Joe Khalende who is reminding them the things to do with Mongiki. They know the story around Mongiki. They know the story around oath-taking. They know the story around politics, where people use young people to mobilize people around politics. And it's something that must be deliberate. It's not something that must just come out from government alone. Because if you're talking about government, you're talking about the police to do their job. The police will do their job. At the end of the day, a case is reported at the police station that certain goons have attacked me. But nobody comes out to record statement or to identify the goons and to ensure that there are witnesses in those cases.
But
most of the time these cases,
sometimes the risks of being a witness.
Yes.
Because it is real.
Yes.
And it is the government's responsibility overall to ensure there is security across. Because that's one thing people can't do for themselves.
Yes. And this thing needs to come out clearly. And I think the Minister of Interior has pronounced himself loudly on this issue, that the IG, the police, and the country at large, in conjunction with judiciary, we need to help each other to sort out this issue.
Yeah.
Because it is a conversation that we cannot allow just to go one way. We must come together and understand that as a people, that our country cannot start and end because of politics.
Yes.
Life must move on. And let us not make our politics to be life and death. You know, I contested in the last election. And when the day of the voting, I was outside there moving around and seeing how people are voting. I realized hii kura hapa ni ngumu. Mimi na hii UDA yangu imeenda. Then I received a call from the party leader asking me, hey, uko ground iko aje nini? I told him, bana, hapa mimi yangu nimepoteza, lakini yako kuna chances we can secure 2 or 3. Akaniambia kai imeenda, come to Bomas, assist the team at Bomas, because you are an advocate, you understand what happened there. Just board the next vehicle, come to Nairobi. Then I moved. Then my team asked me, bana, my friend, why are you running away? We need to contest these things. I told him, gentlemen, we had agents, we had a call center. By around 8, 9, I had received several calls on a sample of the number of the votes and the counting that was happening, and I could see hii hapa hii imeenda. I told them clearly, gentlemen, I'm alive to the fact that I know what transpired in this election. Let us not make it life and death. We accept we have lost. We accept we made mistakes. We accept this and this, and we move on. But there are certain individuals in this country who do politics like a matter of life and death. That if I don't win, life must stop. The country must stop. And we must have that honest conversation and allow ourselves to the reality that politics is about ideologies competing, it's about ideas competing, it's about agendas competing. It is not that I must win. If I don't win, the country must stop.
Yeah.
No. We need to understand that. So it is an emotive issues with the way people look at politics that has led to a point that at certain point we lose innocent young people, we lose livelihood, we start looking at each other as enemy. Today, I'm a friend to somebody, my neighbor is my neighbor, to Naobada, we do things. But because of politics, I start looking at my neighbor through the lenses of being a tribe, through the lenses of this mrengo and this mrengo. Yeah. Let us not allow politics to go that extent. Yeah. Politics is politics. It is a competition of ideas. My idea is great and the people have bought it. I have been given the privilege to serve the people. Let me serve. Yeah. Tomorrow, it is another person's responsibility. He'll be given that responsibility. We move on and we go and we go.
And you move.
Yes.
Nice. Very nice. As we come to the end of this, yes, your political ambitions, you lost in the previous elections.
Yes.
Have you taken lessons to what you want to be next?
Yes.
Or do you just want to serve as...
I've learned a lot. For the shortest time I've been in politics, I've learned a lot as a young person. I've learned a lot. And immediately, I went back to the people of Matayos. Matayos constituency is in Busia County, and it's majorly the urban, the town constituency. And the people told me, young man, you are very eloquent. You understand the policy, you understand the roles and the responsibility. You are qualified, you are educated. But kuna mambo, haikuwa mzuri. Nikauliza one, the political party. The party was wrong. Busia was perceived or is a stronghold of ODM. And I even took an initiative to inquire, and I was told at the Orange House that whenever they are ranking their stronghold, Busia always comes number 1. So clearly with your UDA, you had no chance. Yeah. in Busia, specifically Matayos. Yes, I told him, yeah, that is correct. But now we have a broad base. Now ODM iko pamoja na UDA. How are the chances? Wakaniambia, now come. The chances are open now. 2, they told me that, young man, haujui bei ya Pampers. Basically, you understand what when a lawyer is telling you, or when your clansman tells you that haujui bei ya Pampers, they are telling you there's a certain responsibility you need to correct so that we can give you this bigger responsibility. Okay. And hopefully, and by God's grace, I've corrected. Now I know. Najua bei ya Pampers.
You did a good job.
Yes. And thirdly, there are issues that you need to understand. The politics, the urban politics, the kind of Nairobi politics, totally different from the rural politics. For you, you are very abrasive, you are head-on. When you come here, you need to tone down a bit and don't be head-on. When you tackle certain issues, be go slow. Now I understand the issues, and clearly it's a good platform. But basically, the young people have an opportunity in 2027, but it's not an easy thing, because being a young person, politics involve mobilizing people.
Yeah.
When you're mobilizing people, it means you must have the financial muscles to mobilize the people. I thought that utakusanya watu wauzie sera alafu uende. The moment you finish unakwambia mheshimiwa unatuachaje? And having been a student of history through the book of Francis Fukuyama, you must understand that we Africans, in his book Origin of Politics, that we Africans, how we used to elect leaders. We used to elect leaders, people who could organize a community to go hunting, who could help a community to set up a farm, nini. So being a leader in African setup, it means you must be a provider. And being a provider, it must mean that as a community, kama tuko na shida hapa, you must step up and help those issues. So towards mobilizing people in an African setup, it means when you're doing politics, you must have the financial muscle. You and me understand that being a young person in this country, to have those financial muscle, to mobilize the financial muscle, it is not easy. But through the friendships, the network, and the well-wishers, and the people, you see, when we get certain opportunity like this platform, which I'm privileged today to be here, and you explain your agenda, some people outside there who are seated there listening to this young man and say, hey, this young man has a vision, let's support him. So through this platform and the networks and the friends outside there, they are able to help us and assist us young people to go outside there and showcase our talent.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So you want to be the MP?
I feel that it's a calling, and I think it's at the right moment, and I think I need to go and face the people of Matayos and sell my agenda and be given that opportunity. Yes.
Why do you want the people of Matayos to elect you as their MP?
If you understand Matayos coming as a young person who has been raised from Busia, I understand that Busia has faced so many challenges being a border town. Let me give you this perspective in Busia. Busia, we have a level 5 referral hospital. That hospital not only serves the people of Busia town and the larger Busia, but it serves people far reaching to Uganda and Congo. So it is a facility that has been overwhelmed, that needs to be sorted. Busia is strategically placed in terms of being a border town, and we have 5 or 4 border entry. We have Malaba, we have Busia town, we have another one here in Funyula, we have an entry through the waters in Budalangi. I feel that is a great opportunity, that is a potential that needs to be open so that the people of Busia can be used to harness. I feel that Busia alone has an opportunity in terms of agriculture. For historically, Busia and the larger Budalangi is known with the story around floods.
Yeah.
But the moment you enable that, there's an opportunity there. The moment you enable that, we can be a rice-growing county that can serve this country very well. There's potential around there. If you look at Busia this way, that being a county with talented skills from young people, the first person from this East Africa region to play Champions League is originally from Busia. McDonald Mariga and the Wanyama family is originally from Busia. If you look at past national teams here,
you've taken
Busia,
credit for someone from Budurwa.
Originally, I'm saying
Well,
originally.
yes.
Sorry, originally. He's a Samia from Busia, but
Yeah.
now they have resettled. So, yeah. National teams, both rugby, both football, but that is talent from Busia. If we give this raw talent an opportunity, we can secure the opportunity for the young people. And I think what we have been missing in Busia is a visionary, energetic leader. And I want to take that opportunity to provide that.
Okay.
2, Busia, we have been successful in having previous leaders. We have had Philip Masinde, who served in the Moi era as a Minister of Labor. We have had Chris Okemo, who served in the previous government as Minister of Finance, Minister of Energy. We have had people like Attorney General Emeritus. He's my clansman. He's a hire from Busia. So Busia is strategically positioned. Busia, we have a history, but currently we have gone down. Simply because that we have leaders who do not understand the nature and the position and the strategic position that Busia is in. And it's about enabling, it's about providing the enabling environment for the people of Busia. Then the great county will no longer be in certain conversations that we are the poorest county or we are the poorest region. We will not be in those conversations. We will be in other conversations as a county and as a people. So it is about providing leadership in Busia.
Providing leadership.
Yes.
Above all, just to remind you, the roles of a member of parliament
Yes.
is to represent, oversight,
Sight.
and legislate.
Legislate.
Overall, you have that in mind.
Yes.
That the bigger picture should be here.
Yes.
Yes, of course, because that is what allows you implementing what
Yes.
you want to.
Yes. And there's something that people need to understand. I've told you my story that I had an opportunity of working with one Honorable Ababu Namwamba.
Yes.
And I learned a lot when I was undergoing the mentorship program with Ababu Namwamba. Ababu Namwamba became an MP of Budalangi when Budalangi stories were floods.
Imeenda.
When Budalangi stories were about people dying when River Yala and Zoia floods, it was about a minute constituency somewhere there. But Ababu Namwamba decided to make deliberate steps to help his people. He just did one simple thing. He built Sigri Bridge. Do you know Sigri Bridge connects you from Budalangi North and Budalangi South? But without the Sigri Bridge, people are forced to take 1 hour route to go to the other side within a constituency. But the moment the Sigri Bridge was constructed, it is 15 minutes place to cross. And what led to that Sigri Bridge? We lost 14 young people, school-going children. Ababu Namwamba was a parliamentarian, an MP. Ababu Namwamba took the initiative of ensuring the issue of floods is a story of the past. It was just about building the dikes along River Nzoia, and it worked perfect. There was an initiative after building the dikes. he introduced something. This is how his name Smart came about. He introduced the area that was going through the floods. He introduced something about to do with the rice growing. And the rice was pure white. So the people, the farmers around there ended up nicknaming him Ababu Smart.
Oh, it wasn't because of his suits and
That is the
shiny
original.
shoes.
That is the original. That is the original way how it started. But now because he's yeah,
Okay.
yes.
He still takes
So
it.
what I'm basically saying is this: that the issues to do with our people in Matthias and our people in Busia, it's about leadership. Just having the correct leadership that understand the issues to do with the people,
Okay.
and then
Things will move. And it is not a Matthias case. It is a Kenya affair. Understand who you're electing to be as a good leader if you really want change, or if you're happy with the status quo, depending on the leader. If they've done well, it is good to give them a chance. Now, for everyone who sits here, they leave a question for the next guests. So it is not determined who's the guest. It does not even matter. So just leave a question for the next person.
The next person, there's a professor called Yuval Noah. He puts a quote that if the future of humanity is decided in your absence because you and your children, or because you are busy feeding and clothing your children, you and they will pay the consequences. The next leader or the next person who sits here needs to start the conversation from there.
Okay.
Yes.
If your future is decided in your absence because you're feeding your children.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Now, we had Simiu, Joachim Simiu, it's interesting.
Yes.
The Secretary General of Safina Party seated here last week on Friday. And he left a question, and the question was, why should people care to listen to you? That was his question. Yeah. I know that caught you off.
Not the people. Why should
people care to listen to you, Kenyans, or anyone watching? Why would they care to listen to you?
But because it's high time that we listen to an alternative conversation. It's high time that we need to have an elaborate conversation with different divergent views being put on the table so that people can be able to pick what they want and what they feel that it's gearing them towards a certain agenda or a certain goal. And it's a platform, or it's an opportunity for me to showcase what I believe in and what I'm able to do and what I can be able to deliver. So it is in the interest of the people to listen to what I offer as an alternative or as the best conversation or the best persuasion.
Okay, nice. That's a very nice way of answering that question. You know what I enjoy most about asking those questions is because it makes people think through. So thank you so much, Joe, for coming through and sharing your time with us. We totally appreciate. And since I know you work with the Interior CS, just tell him we also want to have him here.
Yes, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be here. It's a privilege, and to give you your flower. You are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
You know, people think that whenever you support a certain cause, that you are deaf to other voices. No. At times we enrich ourselves by listening to the alternative voices or to the alternative conversation. It helps us as human beings to grow, and it helps us as a government to understand what people are conversing or what people need. So this is one of those platforms that from outside I've enjoyed. And being that one young man who wakujituma, Nilikuwa ilibidi nijitume nifike hapa.
Ulijituma
Mimi
ufike.
pia nipimwe kwa ratili.
Pimwe. Watatuambia kwa comments. They are watching. You will see how they
Then secondly,
feel.
to promise you that I'm going to pass the word to the CS.
Yes.
I'm going to push it and I'm going to ensure that he's seated here.
All right.
Thank you.
These people will hold you accountable for that promise.
Asante.
Thank you so much for coming through. To you who's been watching this. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next episodes.